Hello everyone, welcome back to the next episode of the Road to Fide Master series. This is the episode number 98, and we will see all two last games of the 5th Grigorianos Memorial round robin tournament. So we will go through two rounds, summary, some additional notes. You don't want to miss it out. Let's check the games first. In the round number 8, I got paired against Grandmaster from Hungary. Not International Master, but Grandmaster. As you know, I unfortunately during the classical game have not won any game against the Grandmaster yet in my life. Rapid, sure. Blitz, sure. Online, oh sure, oh yeah. Classical, not really. For that reason and for the other reasons, which are mostly the fact that I am fighting for the FIDE Master title, I got highly motivated and I wanted to prove myself. Also, because I have white pieces, once more, for the last time obviously in this tournament, I fumbled the last two games with white. I had winning positions, I did not win them. This is my last call for a win with white pieces. What was great about this game and pairing was the fact that the Grandmaster usually chose the Sicilian, and as you looked through my games from this tournament, Sicilian is basically nearly the only thing I've got. I got the Khan, the Taimanov, and the Classical. I have prepared in the meantime some Scheveningen, some Dragon, some Neither, basically nearly all the possibilities for black I have covered. So I got at the board happy, optimistic, with full of energy, also because the win in the round number 7 was so well well played by me and so on. You can check this game obviously with the analysis from yesterday's video. And I got to the chessboard, I shook hands, I played e4, and then my opponent started to think, and I was like, oh my god, it will be not a Sicilian game. And I had in my notes in preparation, I see it even now, he plays, obviously I tapped it in Polish, but he played Sicilian this and that. Sometimes modern defense. Modern, when I think modern, I think Pirc, I think modern, I think this type of stuff. And he is thinking on move number 1, and I said to myself, oh my god, there will be Pirc slash modern slash Philidor slash something like it. And I did not prepare anything against it at all. And then here we go, d6, Pirc defense. And I was like, the worst possible scenario, some slow positions, strategical positions against the Grandmaster when I want to win. I was frustrated to move number 1, as strange as it seems. But hey, we have to play the game, right? I began with d4, knight f6, knight c3, e5. So not the Pirc I was actually expecting with g6, but e5 transposing to the Philidor. I was like, okay, knight f3, knight b2 d7, bishop c4, here, here, here. From what I remembered from like, I don't know, 10 years back when I was working at this position with white pieces if ever, rook e1 was the move to overprotect the center or something, and then after c6 to play a4 to stop b5. That's all I knew. And I also knew that nearly all the games with white pieces in here I am losing or having terrible positions because strategically speaking I don't understand it. Yeah, not the best scenario to win the game. However, my opponent chose b6, the move, the only one in here that I actually kind of know what to do against. If he played h6, if he played a5, if he played rook e8, if he played queen c7, I would not be happy. I would not know, should I play here, should I play here, there, like all those little nuances, I don't get them. But after he played b6, I did not remember my prep because I have none. I remembered some game that I saw. I don't even know when, like 6 years ago, 9 years ago, I don't know. And in there was this idea, once the b pawn is pushed, I can play d5. And I went for it because it was the only thing that I could have remembered, with the thinking that, okay, if exchanges of that kind happen, I mean, I should not be worse, at least something has exchanged, and I have this long-term weakness to maybe target and claim that I'm a little bit better. And this is the reality, actually. So I played d5, he played bishop b7, not taking my pawn. I assumed that him taking it would be okay for me because he is the one using a tempo on it. So I decided to continue my play on the light squares and I chose b3, solidifying my bishop and maybe thinking about bishop a3. At this point, once more, if he takes, very similar situation happens to the one that I described not so long ago, but he played queen c7 and I thought, okay, now is the time to take on c6 on my own. So I did it. He played bishop takes c6, not surprisingly. Bishop a3 happened on my side, and as of now, if he played whatever like h6, I was actually thinking about knight b5, putting the pressure to the pawn, and after he would take, I would take with the pawn. Yes, I'm doubling up the pawns, but it doesn't matter. This one is very good one. I have this very nice pawn slash bishop structure, and I'm opening up the file for the rook. And by the principle, I have two weaknesses to target to fight for a win. For those reasons, I assume he played a6, stopping me from jumping there, and I chose queen d3, hitting the pawn. And to my surprise, when I checked it afterwards, even when I was playing, I kind of felt that after all these years, as I've said, I don't remember, 6, 9, or even more, even though I did not play such structure, even though I did not play such position, I understood this position somehow. I played right moves. In here still we are kind of in the opening book. There were games like it. So from the guy that did not know anything strategically about chess like a decade ago or something, thanks to the hard work, coaching and stuff, I actually got myself to the point where I understand chess, at least a little bit, and this allows me to still maintain better position, even though it takes me time. I can tell you that. I mean, I'm below the 1 hour mark, my opponents still have an hour 20, but my point is I can fight. However, why am I even saying this? This is the most bizarre moment in this whole tournament, kind of, in a way, because whilst playing queen d3, I knew that move like this loses the pawn on the spot. I'm happy. Move like this is strategical suicide, leaving all the light squares. Move like this leaves this pawn. So the only move to make for black is to play bishop b7, bishop took the pawn, can go back, protect the pawn, and so on. And I knew, I had the mental note that I cannot play rook a to d1, hitting the pawn, because knight c5 is incoming with the tempo to the queen, with the attack to e4, and I have to give up my bishop. And this is the thought when I was playing queen d3. And then, after playing the move, I went to the toilet. Once I got from the toilet, I got back. After 2 minutes, I sat back and I think to myself, wow, rook a to d1, what a good move. I'm hitting the pawn. I'm, forcing him basically to play like this. I can then jump to d5 or do whatever I want. I'm having great position. Let's go for it. Just like that. Like if going to the toilet, for 2 minutes would erase my memory. I mean, I thought about it when I was playing queen d3. Don't play rook d1. What happens? I go back and I play it instantly. Knight c5, and I'm like, oh my god. And it's not the end of the world. Funnily enough, I believe all the games that exist here contained the rook a to d1 move. But I was not happy with it because I understood those nuances that I cannot even express to you now, that I have to fight with the b5 breakthrough later on. If b5, then d5 too. So instead of putting pressure to the file onto the file that will not give me anything, I should play knight d2 already now, to then go to f1, to then go to e3, to then cover those light squares, so that I have enough time to then cover b5 breakthrough, so that no breakthrough exists, not this, not this. I can use this square, I can attack there, and so on, so on, so on. The rook a to d1 means nothing. What do? I play it. I'm like, oh my god. Obviously my opponent played knight c5. I have to take it from the tactical reasons. And this is even more bizarre thing. Everyone I would assume would take with the queen. This was the problem, right? Queen in here is okay. I cannot attack it there. This knight cannot do it. This knight cannot do it. b5 might be incoming. d5. All the things I've said. Bishop c6, setting everything up with the queen there. Rooks. This is something I was worried about. And then my opponent just takes DC. With like, how many seconds? 6 seconds it took him. So he was writing down my moves, I assume 4 seconds. 2 seconds, he takes with the pawn. And last time I left the note from the engine, I apologize to you guys. Right now I'm not going to do it because I left it on purpose. How can you take with the pawn in this scenario? I was like surprised. I was amazed, amused. I didn't know what's going on. Like, how in the world Grandmaster is taking with the pawn? I could not understand it. Yes, obviously, when you take with the queen, this pawn is a weak one, but I don't have a clear way to attack it. I lost the bishop. This knight after 1, 2, 3 moves, you play g6, cover the square. I cannot enter, I cannot attack it. Like, this pawn is safe. The only fight is about those pawn breakthroughs. The only fight is about maybe weak pieces of black, but other than that, they are fine. Maybe a little bit worse, but what can you expect when you play Fide, right? But DC, I was like, what is going on? Grandmaster took with a pawn. I really don't know why did he do it. Maybe he was trying to get some symmetrical pawn structure to like maybe draw the game against me in some way. But in here, yes, he got rid of the pawn, but there is the pressure. There is the pressure. So, pawn wise, I still have targets. But what's most important is that he closed himself the c file. He opened the d file for me. The possibilities of me jumping to d5 and exchanging pieces is much better for me than it was with the pawn on d6 still. Uh, Mainly because if I go like knight d5, bishop d5, whatever, I am removing 2 pieces that were there, for example, to stop b5 from coming. Now with this pawn being there, I don't believe this would be a disaster for me, and so on, so on. So it's not like one specific standout thing about this move that is bad about it. It's all the nuances around it. And as for Grandmaster goes, I would assume they know that kind of stuff. So yeah, I was like, first of all, at this point, very happy, right? I went to the toilet, I went back, I played this, and I was like, not again, because when I was 14 years old, for the same reason that I needed to go to the toilet, I lost medal basically in the last round because I miscalculated something while in a rush to the toilet. I mean, it is what it is, physiology and stuff. But in here, I'm adult, and I'm still replying those mistakes that I did 14 years ago. I mean, how can I do it? And then DC, I'm like, okay. I mean, it's God's touch, God wants me to keep fighting for the title. I don't know, but after initial shock, I shook it off and decided, okay, I need to play, right? And immediately I spotted knight d5 as an attempt to go for it already. Like, he takes because he kind of have to. I take. If he plays like this, I might even go like that. Claim the bishop here, and every time he exchanges, I have good knight, he has bad bishop, but it is kind of forcing. If I don't want to take the bishop out with the pawn, bishop d6 happened, this is okay. I might have some ideas to attack. Here, 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 here. Like, but am I breaking through? Am I really getting something for it? I didn't think so. So I didn't go for it. I decided that after this move strategically, I'm so much better. I don't need to rush anything. I just went queen e2. Queen e2, going away from the open file, maybe setting myself up for maneuvers like this in the future. Maybe now knight d5 will be better. So on, so on. My opponent went for bishop d6 to over protect the pawn, which made sense because maybe once more I would like to go for this or that line, right? And still I didn't want to do it. I felt like it does not go away, this opportunity I mean, so I can play whatever. And I decided that since the bishop is no longer on diagonal, I can play knight h4 with this idea. He played g6 to stop me. I played queen d2 with the attack to the bishop and having an eye on those squares. And I already thought that it's promising because imagine that he plays like this. I can go queen h6. He maybe now drops back trying to, solidify the knight, suggest a trade. I don't care, I go here. Here, 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 here. Something along those lines. So I would get 3 pawns for a piece and this terrible, terrible king. And because this bishop is so limited, because there is the rook trade happening, and because I have open third rank, opponent have a lot of trouble surviving. Obviously, I would be double, triple, quadruple, what's the next word? Quintuple checking it, because in the end I'm, sacrificing a piece. But this was my idea generally, and I knew that if he plays bishop e7 straight away, I don't want to go anywhere near those lines, because it would be too much. This bishop already in here is okay. Knight g4, I'm actually losing on the spot. I am not on time to do anything. And he played it, and I said, okay, no need to rush, go back with the knight. King g7 happened to cover the square, go back with the queen. So you may say, you have wasted 4 moves. And I say, I just, checked the ground. Is there anything there for me? There was not. I don't care. Because if you compare this position to that one, I lost 4 moves, yes. I went here and there, here and there. But so what? My opponent used it to play this and that. Is it good for him? I didn't think so. So I felt like, okay, I'm dancing around, checking. Nothing happened. Okay, I will think of another plan. My opponent did not think of another plan. He went back to d6 once more. So, okay, what another plan can I do? Can I make? Knight d5 that I've mentioned earlier makes no sense now, because in this type of scenario, those 2 moves are actually improving the position. So I said, okay, what's my other advantage in the position? And it was possibility of taking over d file. So rook d2. My opponent kind of blitzes out queen e7, followed by bishop c7. I was like, did it help him in any way? Maybe yes, maybe no, I don't care. What I care is that he's relying on the knight, protecting the d7 square so that my rooks cannot enter yet and crush. But once I remove the knight, I might do it. So immediately I went back once more to the idea of planting either bishop or the knight onto the d5 square, just without the idea of taking with the pawn, but with the rooks, with the pieces to keep the d file open. And in the end I did it. I played bishop d5 first, importantly, so that after takes, the knight, have some possibilities to further attack here, there. Opponent is not forced to take, but it's, let's say, advisable, so he takes. And now I have the dreamiest of dreamed scenarios as I could have gotten, because I have full control over the d file and the light squares, as you can imagine, and I have this great knight for this terrible bishop. I have target here, here, and there. This is the entry point. This rook cannot really go away. Those cannot go away. I'm entering here, so on, so on. So my position is promising a lot. Rook f to d8. I don't want to rush things. I played g3 because I saw that if I would be rushing things, I might encounter some problems along the first rank. So I don't do it. I don't rush. I play g3. Those rooks are not going nowhere, right? And what surprised me a lot was that I'm not sure if you followed the opponent's clock, but he was rather playing it fast. So maybe he acknowledged the fact that DC was terrible choice and everything that happens afterwards is just the result of it. So he didn't put much thought into it because he knew that, the position will be degrading in a sense. Or I don't know what happened, but he was bleeding out. After g3, he does not have to rush things. For example, he could have tried a5 to at least solidify the pawn so that the rook is more mobile. I would play like this. He can, let's say, attempt one exchange and the other, and he fights, kind of. Long term, I should claim the fact that this is the advantage that will guarantee me full point, but it's still a grind, and a long one, I would assume. But my opponent blitzes out. After g3 takes, I take, obviously. He plays rook d8, and I was like, okay, what's going on? He gives me the pawn. But the question is, how can I take it? And maybe this was his trick. He was trying to put me to sleep in a sense that I will be not cautious, I will just start blitzing as he does, and blunder, because apparently taking on a6 now is a very bad decision. And I was contemplating it for a little, because if I take, he takes, plays e4, and you may say, okay, 4 against 2 in here, easy peasy, but concretely speaking, I have no good way, no fast way to make a passed pawn. I have to go back, presumably, to pin the pawn. F5 happens. I go back with the knight, jump somewhere. Queen e5, maybe c4, but is this the desired structure I wanted? No. Is this the desired outcome I wanted? No. Obviously, g5 does not have to be played, but I just want to show you that, practically speaking, it's not like I control everything. I really need to be cautious about not allowing counterplay, or maybe it's too late even for that. So I calculated that this g3 move leads me to this type of scenario, but with the, escape for my king. And I went for it. After the g3 takes, rook d8, I took, and that's it. My opponent has resigned in here already. Maybe, as I've said, it was my last test to show him that I'm good enough to win, but he offered all the exchanges, and once they happened, he resigned. I mean, like, okay, that's good for me. As you can tell, I fought for quite a long time in here, and the point was this. Takes, check. My king is safe in here. I lose the pawn, so you may say, okay, material is equal and I am attacked twice, what's going on? This bishop is going on. Always this weak bishop. Queen c8. Nearly all the squares taken. Bishop d6, queen d7. Nearly all the squares taken. Bishop f8. I assume this would be the move. Queen d5 now. Queen protects the pawns. Attacks this one together with the knight. Once it happens, f7 is weak, and opponent is collapsing. There is no way for him to now protect the pawn twice that is attacked twice and protected at no times. And if f6 is the attempt, then it opens up the 7th rank. Queen b7, king g8, queen b6, protecting this pawn, queen e4, and this was the moment until which I calculated everything, and I spotted that a5 should guarantee me a draw, because I am faster with this pawn than my opponent is with the creation of some counterplay. I miscalculated maybe a little bit, but only a little bit, because after this I cannot really go further, because the pawn can take me, and it does so with a check. But at this point I have plenty of choices. Presumably what I would be going into would be to play the here, and maybe now here to set up nasty queen trade and winning position. But also it's a very, very obvious move in here that I missed from the distance that I was sure I would see, which is simply queen f6. Taking this pawn, taking this one in the next move, and having completely winning position. So that is something that I was calculating, contemplating in here. I got it all right, and my opponent didn't even waste time on checking me. He resigned already. So I won the game. And I knew that I've put myself in the position that with 2 out of 2 in the recent 2 games, as I've told you after the analysis of the round number 6, as I've told you before the tournament in the first episode of this tournament, I need 6.5 points out of 9 to get my FIDE Master title. Right now I am 5.5 out of 8, so I need to score full point in the last round, or at least I thought so. Because guys, after this win, I crossed the 2300 rating mark when it comes to the live rating, right? After this win, I got exactly 2301.2 live rating. What does it mean? It means that in the requirements for FIDE title, it is set, it is written that I don't have to obtain the rating on the list on the first day of the next month when the ratings are published. I don't have to have published rating of that height. All it matters is to cross it, even if it's only on live rating list. And live, I had just that, 2301.2. So, I lied to you, but I didn't know that I'm doing this, because I did not need 6.5 out of 9. I also could have scored the FIDE Master title when I had 5.5 out of 8, and I did that. I have it, 5.5 out of 9, right? I will even update the score. Rating change plus 25. I have 2276. I did it. I crossed it. I got it. And psychologically speaking, to be honest, I would rather prefer to not know it yet. to keep my fighting spirit, to keep my motivation. But as soon as I got home to the apartment after round number 8, I had like 2 or 3 messages already congratulating me. And then few more after. And I was like, okay, I need to make sure that it's correct, because I was replying to those guys, I don't know if you are right. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't want to know, right? Because I knew that this life rule exists, that once you cross the 2300 rating mark at any given point in any given tournament, you can be, celebrating the FIDE Master title. But I did not know if there is an exception for the round robin tournaments, because if you think about it, my opponent in the last round was rated 2100. If you just switched it and I had 2100 opponent on the round number 8 and then the Grandmaster on the round number 9, if I had 5.5 points out of 8 rounds, I would not cross this life rating of 2300. Only because I played Grandmaster first, I crossed it. So is it fair? This was my thinking, and I thought that maybe this life rule does not apply to round robin tournaments. But then I thought about it, wait, if I am tomorrow at risk of losing the rating and dropping down before 2300 rating mark, why would I go to the game tomorrow? Like, as of now, you can see 2301 would be my rating. Why would I go tomorrow to face worse guy than me, ratingly speaking? Why would I risk it? I can just make a no-show, right? And just don't come to the game. But is it good from the sporting standpoint? Not. It's not good, right? So the rules cannot allow such situation to happen. The rules cannot motivate me to not come to the game. So in the end, I learned that it doesn't matter whether it's round robin tournament or Swiss tournament or some other kind of tournament. Rules that does not care. I mean, all they care about, all I need to do is to cross it live, whatever the format is. I double checked it myself. I triple checked it with all the guys that were congratulating me, and I quadruple checked it with the international arbiter who knows all the rules very well, and this was official. On the evening of, I believe it was 25th of June, I knew that I will be FIDE Master. Amazing feeling. Nearly all my adult life I was going for it, and I got it. So that's the upside of it all. I could have, an evening off, enjoy the lake, enjoy the view, enjoy the sunset, enjoy life in many aspects, all of them, overjoyed and stuff like it. The downside was I have to play tomorrow. And how should I approach it? So I wanted to give my best anyway. So I wanted to set myself up for the chance to fight for a win with black pieces. And yeah, let's see how the game go, because it's a funny one. I was met with d4 and then bishop f4, London system. And I knew that since I don't have to play for a win to get FIDE Master title because I have already secured it, I don't have to go all in against London system. So my preparation was 50-50. 50% of spicy lines, 50% of calm lines. And I knew that since my opponent is so low rated, he would be rather happy with a draw. So, and also, cherry on the top, a draw in this game would guarantee me winning the tournament. It doesn't matter because there were no prizes, but still kind of a nice feeling. So yeah, this was my approach. I chose therefore f5 to try to go not into the London Jobava London, but rather some other London after this and that. And I wanted to play Caro-Kann, guys. You ask me, how Caro-Kann against d4? But because, well, when you think about it, this is the exact kind of structure that we would have gotten if my opponent would have played e3 here. Takes. Look at this, right? Same position, just with the bishop on f4 now in the Caro-Kann. But my opponent did not do it, did not go into the Caro-Kann as I wished he would. He played knight c3 anyway, Jobava London anyway, and after knight c6, I checked all the crazy stuff. E4, knight b5, whatever. He just chose e3, and I was like, okay, so we get the Caro-Kann, same stuff, but I had a spicy idea there which did not include knight c3, some other stuff. And in here I knew that the attempt, the best one to fight for a win would be to play a6, to cover the b5 square, to wait with the development of the bishop, to wait for it so that I can pin the knight, and then try to develop like this. So typical structure, even perhaps better for me than usually in the Caro-Kann, but it just wasn't the scenario I wanted, and I will not tell you what I wanted because I might use this prep in the future. What I will show you was how did the game concluded, because in my preparation I included only bishop f5 then, so that after bishop d3, which is logical, takes, I play e6 with the bishop d6 idea. And basically, as you can imagine, getting a position like this screams like a draw offer. You can choose who did it, right? However, to my surprise, my opponent started thinking, and played bishop g3. I was like, I know that I am better here because it's not the good move. Indeed, he was supposed to exchange, but it's so dry that I would have to grind it out after like 3 or 4 hours of playing, maybe if I obviously would have gotten the chance to win the game. So I just decided to play a6 and offered a draw, which was accepted. Funnily enough, I played the move, I said offer draw, I pressed the clock, I started writing down the move, I put my head up, and the head of my opponent was like this already to accept the draw. So yeah. That's the end of the tournament. Obviously, after this game, I dropped below the 2300 mark, and I didn't want to talk about this game much more because it doesn't matter. What matters was that after round number 8, I crossed the life rating. I can be eligible for the FIDE Master title. I already applied. I already paid. I'm just waiting for the official confirmation. Unofficially, I know that I got it. So yeah, that's it. Let's summarize the tournament as a whole. Because guys, I won the tournament, my first ever round robin closed IM tournament. Great feeling. I missed out on the international master norm by 1 full point. If you think about my performance, as you can tell, I was the only one in the group that did not lose any game. I scored 6 points, which is a very good result, and still I feel like I could have done better. All it had to happen was for me to win either 4th or 6th round, or ideally both of them, right? Because I had been winning in them. I had winning positions. So let's settle for just one of them, right? Then I'm secured FIDE Master title anyway after round number 8 for sure. And so I can go all in for the international master norm in the last round. But in this type of dynamic, when I had only 5.5 points out of 8 rounds, I couldn't get the international master title. I got the FIDE master title. I was nearly guaranteed first place in the tournament anyway, but for it there was no prize. So the only motivation was to play some chess, and I was highly motivated. I love chess. But after securing the title I was chasing for a decade, I said to myself, maybe I will enjoy the lake. So that's how the last game concluded. Tournament amazing, place amazing, organization okay. Chess wise, I was not once worse in any game. In the round number 7 that I really highly recommend for you guys to watch, I was only a little bit worse after the opening because I chose a crazy line. And other than that, I was okay. So great performance, but the time will come to sum up the whole FIDE Master road journey, and the time will be tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow, I will sum up my journey, 2 years of YouTube videos, 2 years of really doing my best to achieve my goal, and I hope to see you there. Thank you very much for watching this game. These 2 games actually, I hope that you liked at least one of them. And with that, thank you very much. We'll see each other tomorrow for the last ever Road to FIDE Master episode. I hope you will be there. See you. Bye bye.